Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend just a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings card game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride.
And Ted, he is probably, I don't know, I just can't come up with him as quick as Ted can with, I was going to say he's stuck in the shower feeling the rain of water coming down on him, but that's weak. It's not Ted. But Ted will
have an hour after his parade.
Yeah.
Get back on.
Yeah. So Ted will be back with us soon. He is the linchpin of this trio of Card Talk here. Not really, but we miss you, Ted. And but let's, before we get into the card, talk a little bit about how you can engage with us here at Card Talk. We do have the pod and the blog. The pod and the video episodes, which have always been the backbone of what we do here at Card Talk. And then we have the blog, which Matt has been holding down for close to 3 years. We're approaching 3 years with the blog now. So it's a good way to interact with us and see what cards do and how to use them in decks. And if you don't like to hear what we have to say, you can read about it. And then we have Micah does Second Breakfast every couple of weeks. He puts out a new playthrough on the YouTube channel that's exclusive over there. He's got some deck building limitations and some challenges that he likes to do. And then we go from there with that. And then recently I just started my Angmar Awakened campaign, and that's coming out every Monday until it's done, until I get through the Dread Realm. Spoiler alert, it's all recorded, it's all uploaded, it's all scheduled, so there's no way it's going to not finish. So that's cool. You can see that, and that's a live playthrough. So I'm excited about that. But enough about how you can hang out with us. Grant, what is the card today?
Well, if you haven't gathered by now, with all our little innuendos, we are going to have a rain of arrows coming down. We are talking about the rain of arrows from the core set. The one-cost pack mix event that exhausts the character you control with the range keyword to choose a player, deal 1 damage to each enemy engaged with that player. Arrows thick as the rain whistling over the battlements and fell clinking and glancing on the stones. Many found their mark, the 2 towers.
That's good. So,
all right, okay.
And you can see Grant. It's good. You can see the Grant's joining us live here. But I will take a minute, since Grant appears to be doing something off camera here. I'll take a minute.
Yeah, you can keep going. I'm just turning my camera off for a minute.
Yeah. That's fine. But the Rain of Arrows, this is, first of all, I think it's a way in solo play to get the range keyword to do something. So if you're playing solo, it's one thing that you can do with the range keyword. I don't know if putting this in a deck is worth it unless you're when you're playing solo, because it's just, I don't know. It's direct damage-y. Its cost is 1 in tactics, which is also already kind of resource starved. And you have to exhaust a ranged character, which isn't horrible, but it's like, how many range characters are there? There's only in the full card pool, I think there's only 7 ranged heroes, and then after that, how many ranged characters, and do you want your ranged characters to be doing this? I mean, so yeah, I could see some niche cases for putting this in here. Um, but I think as the game got broader and bigger, the enemies dealing 1 damage to an enemy became not, what do I want to say? Became not that big of a deal. You have Thalon that can do 1 damage out of the core set. You have, so I mean, you can do these 1 damages all along. You have Bilbo, when you quest successfully, does a damage to an enemy in the staging area. So there are some ways to do things into the staging area, which is great. But I don't think that this helps the direct damage archetype, which is basically either take Dunhere or take Haldir and attack into the staging area and kill stuff. Does it help a Dunedain deck where you're engaging everything and then trying to do stuff? But Dunedains want to kind of stay engaged with things and defend things and not really kill stuff because they get bonuses. So I don't know. It's like this is a card I think that suffers from being developed early in the card pool in the core set, because I just don't think that they had the what do I want to say, all the direct damage stuff figured out and how it was going to work. And that's
all the pieces together.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to forgive the designers for not being able to understand that this game was going to be around for developed actively for 10 years and all the cards that were going to be going around there, and so I appreciate the intent of this card, but I just don't think that I ever build my Rain of Arrows deck. Now I will say that Chad at Cardboard of the Rings, he did a Rain of Apples thing, that was kind of funny with did he do a Rain of Apples? Maybe not.
Yes, he did.
With Bill Fernie, yeah, so there was some, not to say that this card is useless. I'm channeling my inner Ted here. I'm saying that this card probably has some plays. I just don't think that it's a card to reach for when you're building, like a direct damage deck or attacking.
It's definitely one that you need to have specific reasons to put in your deck.
Yeah, it's like a toolboxy card, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll agree with everything you've said there. It's not a card you reach for. Now, as we progressed from the core set, there wasn't very many characters with ranged in the core set. So you either had to exhaust your hero, or you had to exhaust one of the few allies with ranged. And as it's progressed, we're getting a lot more targets for Rain of Arrows. But as we've said, the direct damage isn't ideal. The best case scenario is you're in a multiplayer game, you've got 6 enemies engaged with 1 player, and you need a little bit of damage on several of the enemies to clear the board.
Yeah,
that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, and I think that there's a couple of good points that I need to bring out here. That it says, exhaust a character you control with ranged. I think that had some foresight there. That that there weren't going to be a ton of heroes, so at least you're not using your Legolas hero or your Heirloom hero to try to do something with this thing. And I think that this is a multiplayer card where somebody is trying to engage a whole bunch of people, and you can help that person from afar because you're choosing a player, right? And so, but again, 1 damage, I guess the question is, how many enemies does that person have to be engaged with to make this card worth it? It's not just 1, because you might as well just range over with the character and do it, so.
Well, it also depends on the defense of said enemy. If there are a lot of defense point enemies, and then in that case, maybe a ranged attack isn't the best way to go, and using rain of arrows is.
Right.
Again, it comes down to um, knowing the quest, and like I said, like you said before, it's a toolbox. It's not a one that's going to see play in every deck.
Right. It's not,
If you
and I
check
don't
on
think it's going to
Rings
be.
DB,
I don't
it's
even
got
think it's going to be seen play in many decks. I think it's just going to be in a couple of decks where somebody's like doing this.
As I was saying, it's got 2 rings on Rings DB, a popularity of rings.
Is that
So it's
that's
not
real
used
low, right?
often. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give you the breakdown of the number of decks it's in. Oh no, it's ranked. It's 70,302.
Well, like I think that this is a good card for maybe a lot of multiplayer Khazad-dûm stuff. Because those chumpy little orcs are really
the swarming enemies.
Yeah. And I think that it would be good maybe even in a a solo deck a little bit. But again, one damage.
5 armies.
Yeah, like there's a couple of cases to use this, but I think in general, you're not going to use this card in general cases. Yeah, I don't think it's. Oh, you know what? It wasn't rain of arrows; it was hail of stones that Chad used. I think it was hail of apples, right?
Yeah.
So
possibly.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, Chad, I'm sorry that I screwed this up. So I think that it's just, I think that this is good. So I don't know. I can see what they're trying to do design-wise with this card, but I just don't think it lasted the test of time. This is strictly
It definitely didn't hit its mark.
Yeah, and it's strictly a multiplayer card. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a multiplayer card. And like I say, it doesn't hit the mark where it was meant to. Definitely didn't get a bullseye on the arrow scoring shot.
No. What do you think of the artwork on this card?
I actually like the artwork. I like the way the design went with it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the design of the card doesn't overrule the fact of how useful it is.
Yeah. Right? The one thing that I feel like is that there's arrows coming in from a lot of different directions. It's like the arrows in the back are coming in from the straight. The arrows in the medium, not in the background, but in the medium ground they're coming in from the left, and the arrows in the foreground are kind of coming from the right. But ever since I saw this card when I first bought the core set, I feel like this card has always reminded.
If you look at it, are going straight up.
Yeah, maybe there's the ones that are being launched. I don't know, but it always reminded me of that scene from the 300 where the arrows are coming in and they just the sky goes black because of the arrows coming in. So I don't know. So Grant, should we ring this card?
Yeah, let's give this rain of arrows a target to hit.
You tried. I tried. Rain of Arrows. For anybody who doesn't know or may have forgotten, we have a highly scientific yet arbitrary system where we rank a card on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is the one card to rule them all, or one of the best cards in the game. And a 10 is a card that we throw back into the fiery chasm from whence it was made, or a card that's not very good. I went first last time, just so I wouldn't have to go first this time. So, Grant... I'm just kidding. I didn't actually.
So that's why.
Yeah. No, I don't have that much forethought. But Grant, what do you think of Rain of Arrows?
Unfortunately, as I've just said, the art of the card doesn't outweigh the downsides of it. Can I say certain uses? Yes, but they are few and far between. I'm giving it a 9 rings.
9 rings. I agree. I'm going to be a little shorter than I am on most of my ring ratings. I just think that, me playing solo, even when I try to build a direct damage deck, this card never really makes the cut. It just doesn't. So I think that I can appreciate what the niche that this kind of was trying to carve out into the card pool, but you know, but I can see more than just like one or two uses for this, but not many more than one or two. So I'm going to give this card an 8, just because. So, well, everybody, there you have it. Rain of Arrows, another core set card. And guess what? Next week, you can join us as we talk about more core set cards in the game. Have a great day, everybody.
Do you love the content? Here's what you can do to stay connected. Become a patron. The money collected through Patreon goes into keeping the lights on here at the podcast. We love our patrons, and you can join at many different levels. Visit patreon.com/cardtalk2018. You can subscribe to us, whether you're watching our YouTube channel or you're listening to us in your favorite podcatcher. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of all our new episodes. Didn't know we were an audio podcast? Find us by searching Card Talk to get access to our 120 plus regular episodes. Didn't know we were a video channel? Find us by searching Card Talk LOTR LCG on YouTube. And there you can find not only our regular episodes, but you can find our bonus playthroughs and other content related to the game. Want to get a hold of Ted, Grant, or myself? Feel free to email the podcast at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.